And welcome everybody to this kind of like bonus kind of special episode of the Welsh Chess Chat. And this is something that we hope to do with numerous different people throughout the Welsh chess kind of world. So hopefully this is the first of many, where we've got Joe Fathallah joining us today on the to give us a quick interview about a few things. He's been playing chess for, I think we're going to find out, for nearly 30 years in South Wales. So he knows quite a lot of stuff. And just to get his take on things, he's a member of Cardiff Chess Club and runs quite a lot of things for them. And we also get to hear about his kind of life and journey in chess and why he still plays chess too. And also something that he's also been helping me with that people don't know about is he has been messaging me to correct on my Welsh pronunciations of Welsh chess words. So Johan's not been doing it good enough. So we've got Joe Fathallah on today, although he claims that he's not as good as Johan. So without further ado, welcome to the stream, Joe. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, John. How are you?
Yeah, great. I mean, obviously, I know you've not been too well recently. You recovering now?
Yeah, I've just been down with the usual seasonal bug, to be honest. But I'm fine, mostly recovered. Apologies in advance if there is any coughing or sniffles on the stream.
Well, at least everything's online now, and I teach chess online, so therefore you don't really get any of the germs being spread as much. So it's quite nice, isn't it?
Not with today's technology, anyway.
No. Okay, Joe. So obviously we've been messaging quite a little bit, actually, haven't we, over the past few months? And usually it's for you correcting my Welsh pronunciations.
That's harsh.
Maybe a bit harsh, but I actually quite like it. You know, it's constructive criticism. It needs to be. I think it's something I need to learn and need to get better at. So thank you very much for that. But I mean, of course, you've been playing chess in Wales, and I think I introduced you and said you've been playing chess in Wales for 30 years. Is that accurate? I don't know.
A lot longer. I think I joined Cardiff Chess Club in 1992 as a little boy.
92. So how many years is that? What, 31?
Yeah, probably more. Probably 31 and a half.
31 years. Wow. So how did that start then? Do you want to take us through that?
I think it was probably just my mother and my father playing chess. I mean, they knew the rules and not much else, playing chess at home, and me and my sister watching, and me being interested and not so much, and then teaching me the rules. And seeing as they were beginners, within like a few weeks, I'd probably beaten them, and they'd taken me to Cardiff Chess Club. And I just love it. I just think it's a brilliant. I just think it's a brilliant hobby to have. It gives you so many opportunities. A chance to travel, playing tournaments, meet like-minded people, participate in all kinds of events. Tournaments represent your club. At different events, and also I just find it's a great form of escapism. Is it just creates this kind of artificial universe temporary of 64 squares and 32 bits of wood, and outside of that context, nothing matters. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life or whatever.
You got that kind of like super focus, haven't you, on
exactly.
your opponent, that game, the board.
And you could just block everything. I think it's like ultimate form of escapism from life's, worries and pressures. And I just think it's brilliant. I think it's a great thing to do. I love introducing people to it as well,
Great. Well, and obviously some of the topics that we're going to be talking about today, we're going to obviously have a look at Cardiff Chess Club, because you pretty much know a lot of the stuff going on there. You don't run it all, so we'll like to know who else the other key players are at the club. And you'll take us through that, I'm sure. And I believe that you've got numerous roles yourself too, so it should be great to hear from you about. But then also I kind of want to go maybe in a bit more detail there that you were talking about traveling abroad for chess. What do you actually get out of the chess as well? Because there's many people out there like you who or many people maybe want to be in your situation, shall we say. And then you can correct me about any Welsh words as we go through, by the way. Any Welsh chess words, I'd like to know them. I'd try and get them right as well. But I think really probably what we want to start with is just for you to take us through the Cardiff Chess Club, if that's okay. And just see what's going on. So let me just hide this for a second, and then just bring. Do you want to click on the Cardiff Chess Club tab for us?
Am I sharing my screen now?
Not yet. You are now.
Okay, so we can see the Cardiff Chess Club website.
Yep.
Okay. So as I said, I've been a member for over over 30 years of Cardiff Chess Club, and Cardiff Chess Club has been going since the 19th century. Actually, it's a very, very long-running institution, and I think for a lot of that time was actually meeting in the same place, not the place we're meeting now, but over the road from it. We meet at the YMCA Plus Community Centre, which actually is just over the road, as I said, from where Cardiff Chess Club previously met. Meets on Wednesday nights. Has a large membership. I think this membership list on the rating website is a little bit exaggerated. I don't know who all those people are. I think some of them were probably just artificially attached to the club by the rating officer. But we do have a large membership.
So just to interrupt you, sure. You were talking about the history of it, going back to like 19th century. So have you got any names that you could drop in there? Who's visited? Four champions?
Well, the most famous person who's visited in my memory is Yas Serouan. Was here in about, I want to say mid-noughties, maybe, I don't know, 2004, 2005, something like that. And he did a simultaneous because he knows one of our club members, Charles Summers. So that was brilliant to have him along. He's a really good guy as well. And in terms of, stalwarts of the club, of course, I'm sure you're familiar with Hugh Price, who was every chess kid in South Wales from probably the 1950s up to about 2010 was taught by Hugh, myself included, and he was just the absolute lifeblood of the club. Taught me how to play chess, introduced me to how great chess is, and he passed away, I think, in 2020. Yeah, about three, 4 years ago. And he was still actively playing the game even in his 90s to quite a reasonable standard, to a level of maybe 1600 or so, which is very impressive, I think. And we're trying to carry on his legacy. When he had to sort of step down from running the Cardiff Chess Club juniors, the junior coaching and the junior teams around maybe 12, 15 years ago, I picked it up. I did that for about a decade or so. In the end, I had to drop that in favour of doing other roles in the club, because there is only so much one person can do, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, Hugh did a huge amount. Even I remember, I mean, okay, we're from the same generation, but I remember all the work that, seeing Hugh about quite a lot. And, he's a true member of the club. But I remember, obviously, when he unfortunately passed away, I even had contact of a school that, was missing his teaching, because I think he was still going to schools then. Is that after? So he ran the junior club for a section, you took over, but he was still going into schools, wasn't he, at that point?
It would not surprise me. I was not aware of that, but that would not surprise me at all, because that's the sort of guy he was. Is that he gave absolutely everything to Cardiff Chess Club, and it was his life, and to a certain extent, it was a bit of an issue in terms of trying to get other people to pick up the slack when he passed away, because he did so much, But we think we've sorted that now. Bill Hunt's doing a really good job as the club secretary and treasurer. As the sort of pivot point, pulling everything together. Sam Jukes, who I'm sure does a lot of good work as well.
He's popped up in the chat, Joe. He said that Hugh's played for Cardiff Chess Club since the 1930s.
That sounds quite plausible to me.
Wow.
You would have been a junior, I suppose, in the 30s, but yeah.
So is there any kind of link to Hugh on your chess club homepage? It's almost like feels like there should be a section just dedicated just to him, maybe with a little picture perhaps, but I can't see one. Maybe it's something that you could add on.
Well, there's an obituary in the archive here, if you can.
Okay.
You're still looking at our page.
No, I've taken it off because I was echoing too much for the viewers. So I've got the archive up now though. If you click back to where I'm showing, you can see it. Yes, okay. So we can see this. It'd be nice to have a picture of him there if we could do in the future, but I'm sure you can sort that out. But yeah, I mean, he was, amazing the amount of work and effort that he put into there for the club too. And it must be just a few people saying in the chat that Hugh even taught them how to play. And then, I don't know, 20, 30 years later, you're running the club. Did Hugh teach you how to play, Joe?
Well, I knew how the pieces move. You know, I knew the rules of the game. But put it this way: when I played my first competitive tournament, would have been the Cardiff and Vale under nines, I think, and I came joint first with 5.5 out of 6. And the reason I came joint first with 5 out of 6 was essentially because I was dropping slightly less pieces than the other kids, which is due to Hugh's coaching. If you know what I mean. I think I could move the pieces without hanging them, and if my opponent hung one, I could take it.
Yep.
If you know what I mean. And he'd also taught me how to checkmate with the king and the queen, so I knew how to do that. And I think he taught me how to checkmate with the king and 2 rooks. So if I could get it down to either of those 2 situations, I could win.
Yeah.
And that was that's enough to get 5.5 out of 6 in the under nines, you know.
Yeah.
And I was immensely chuffed by that. And I don't know, maybe at that point he thought I was going to be better than I turned out. But I don't know. But it's always good to have juniors having success, isn't it? And Hugh really encouraged us, and he was really patient. Obviously I don't want to make this whole discussion about Hugh, but I think it's just worth flagging it up because he's such a cornerstone of Cardiff Chess Club. And
I think it's brilliant to bring him up, and thank you very much for that as well. But let's talk about obviously who's taken over. You mentioned that Bill's been doing a lot of work too. So what is Bill's role, and how's?
So Bill's a club secretary, so basically the captain of the captains. So we have. Oh, hang on, you can't see my screen anymore. I was going to.
No, I can't. No.
Yeah. So if you
I can go on to ratings here. Don't worry. I know where the ratings part is.
If you go to these, do you know where the East Glam website is?
I can search for East Glam website.
If you just go to egca.yola site,
on it.
You've got it, have you? Yeah. If you go to
this one,
if you go to league, just click on
league.
Where it says league. If you just click on where it says league, click on that.
This bit.
And click on it. That's it. So this is the East Glamorgan League where our teams play. Obviously, leaving the WCPL aside for the moment. This is where our teams play. It's got that's Division 1. There's 3 divisions. Each team. So we got 5. So actually, of the 10 teams in Division 1, 5 of them are of our club because it's kind of castles as well. And we've also got teams in the lower divisions. Each of those teams obviously has a captain who organises their team, gets the team out, and so on. Bill is basically the captain of the captains, so he makes sure that all the captains are doing their jobs properly, everything's in order, all the matches are taking place correctly. He's the contact point for new members interested in the club, of which obviously we're getting a lot in the post Queen's Gambit era, which is good.
Go on, just talk about that a bit more then. So have you seen an increase since the pandemic, Queen's Gambit kind of duo came around?
Absolutely. I mean, I think during the pandemic, just tabletop games in general became more popular, didn't they? So chess was a natural beneficiary of that, wasn't it? And because people just needed new hobbies, needed stuff to do, didn't they? And absolutely, people have come, have made the transition to playing chess in real life. And if anything, like the club is expanding to the point of becoming unmanageably big at this stage, in terms of actually trying to find games for people.
So have you got like pre-pandemic numbers to now? Are you bursting at the seams with people?
I would say it's plus 50% if I had to pull a number out of the thin air.
Because during the pandemic, didn't we have obviously we had a massive drop off because we couldn't do anything.
Of course, yeah.
And now it's we fully recovered, so to speak, and because everybody's now hooked on chess. So what are you going to do about that then? Do you need a new venue? What's
the thing is, not everyone sticks, do they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. The Queen's Gambit thing is brilliant because for your average chess, like any competent chess player goes from complete nobody to relative god overnight. So from that point of view, it's brilliant, isn't it? Because you got this massive influx at a very low level. So I can't quite enjoy it because I'm a sort of deity to them.
Yeah.
Even though in the grand scheme of things, I'm not a particularly strong player compared to. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if you should be so negative about that, Joe. I mean, we're obviously going to talk a little bit about your own chess in a bit, but you do realise that. I mean, you got over 2,000 recently, didn't you?
So my Welsh chess union rating, I think, is 2080, and my FIDE is 2010. I think.
Okay, so you're over 2,000 rated. You do realise that there's millions of people out there that would love to have a FIDE rating of 2,000 or higher.
But that's
and they can't get it.
There's always someone better than you, isn't there? So
yeah,
to me, like 2,200 is strong, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, there's always going to, unless you're Magnus Carlsen, there's always going to be like someone that you look up and say, like, this person is a good player, isn't there? So, we're just trying to improve, aren't we? All of us.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I really wouldn't say make sure that you're quite clear on that, because there's a load of people that wish that they had a rating of 2,000, and they're trying as hard as they can, and some of them are obviously successful, but the majority aren't successful. 2,000 is an extremely high rating in the world. There's a lot of people there wishing to get up to that point, and for one reason or another, they just can't get there. And obviously that's where they contact even myself or yourself to get some coaching. We've got people out there that are even like 1900s rated FIDE. They're giving coaching out and making a living off coaching, and they're rated 1900, which you might think isn't good, but actually 1900 rated is really good. So
coaching is a skill in its own right, doesn't it? You don't necessarily have to be an amazing player to be a really good coach, do you? And also there are some people who are amazing players who are actually bad coaches. So it is a skill in its own right. Not one that I've been massively good at, to be honest. I have tried, but
you ran the junior coaching at Cardiff Chess Club for a decade, did you say?
Yeah, never really produced any good players.
Well, hang on a minute. Is running the junior club at Cardiff Chess Club specifically to produce good players?
I was joking, of course.
Right. Why did Alex come out of it?
Alex did come out of it, but I mean, I think I did do a little bit to help Alex along. But at a certain point, he overtook me. So doesn't even after he overtook me, I still think I like to think I've played a role.
Well, you would have done, and to be fair, we could even go as far to say that you created Alex Bullen. I mean, we could
Let's not say that.
No, I'm sure we're just joking. Okay, so you ran it for 10 years. That must be quite a lot of effort then to run a junior section in the club for 10 years.
And eventually, I think that is why I did have to draw a line under it, because it is a hell of a lot of work. It really is.
I mean, what kind of things were you doing? That obviously it's not just turning up for. And people seem to think sometimes you just turn up for, I don't know, an hour and a half, and every week, and that was it. More
like 2.5 hours once you take into account, setting up and packing away and everything. So trying to teach best we could. And obviously you're teaching at different levels. You're trying to teach from like absolute beginner up to probably 1,600. So there's a huge discrepancy. So it's probably best done on a one-to-one basis or a small group basis, isn't it?
No, I mean, it's the bane of every chess coach's or chess teacher's life, isn't it? That you go in and you know that you've got some people who you might have a new starter that week, and you need to make sure that they actually know the rules of the game, and then start right at the start of like king and queen and rook ladder checkmate, and then you've got somebody else who's working on, I don't know, learning an opening or complex tactics, like you said, 1,600 rated. That's quite high for a junior. I thought you said you didn't produce anybody any good. That's pretty strong.
I'm trying to think. We did have the Civic Jacksons, didn't we? But they unfortunately gave up chess, which was a shame.
Okay.
They were probably the strongest ones that we produced. The current prop, I think Chris Enoch has got potential to be a really strong player.
Yeah.
But it's probably too early to tell how far he's going to go at this stage.
Yeah, hard work's needed, isn't it?
Yeah, and also I think he might start to suffer a little bit from being much better than everyone else.
Yeah,
it is a problem in its own right, isn't it?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, massive thanks, Joe, for running that for 10 years, and obviously I understand why you need to draw a line over it at some point, but I'm sure it was very valuable to Welsh chess as well. But you're obviously not just doing the junior stuff now. What is your role within Cardiff Chess Club?
So I run the WCPL team,
okay,
which is probably my only official in inverted commas position, which you can find if you look on the WCPL website. And What else do I do? I run the summer program, which I think you featured on your stream.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can click on the summer program.
Oh, that's out of date now because that's going to last summer. But...
Okay, but I thought this was fantastic though. I thought this was really good. We featured this on the streamer, obviously over the summer. To actually date it out like this and obviously organize it all. And I know that you had, like, for example, I mean, this is probably a bit of a downer on the summer, but obviously
that was great actually. Even though I make fun of Alex's camera all the time, I actually really enjoyed that tournament. So,
Yeah, they started to do the other two. They started to do a Caro club, so I'm not very happy about this. But if they like it, then I'll allow it. But this is fantastic, and that this, I think that this part of the club running, that if you get these things in, you'll get that kind of those new people coming in the door. Is there something for me over the summer? Is there not necessarily even a league match for me, but is there maybe even an internal club match for me? And I believe that you've not just been running the summer program; it's also you've also got this as well, haven't you? This club championship.
Yeah, well, Sam helps me with that, which is good.
So this is Sam's job, is it?
Well, it's a bit of a joint effort.
Yeah,
joint effort between the two of us.
Okay, so you just said a minute ago that you were just a WCPL captain. Now all of a sudden it comes out that you run the summer program, and that also half you and Sam both work on this club championship.
I didn't want you to click on that page because it's got me losing to a 1500 on it. So
oh, has it? Oh, let's have a look at that.
I was trying to get you to avoid clicking on that, but you've done it now. So.
Who's CL? CL, where's CL?
Cyril, his name is. It was
Cyril Lee.
It was
15. He's 1552, so you can round him up to 16.
It was quite a funny game in the sense that, like, I was just totally winning. I had like his king. He'd somehow managed to play a King's Indian without castling, and his king was stuck in the middle. And it was king still on the 8, and he shoved his G and H pawns up to try and mate me, but basically just block them so they're going nowhere. And my pawns are about to crash in the middle and mate him. I sacked a piece of what I thought was a mating attack. And it was a main attack, except I totally forgot that Black can actually still castle, but he was able to castle out my attack, after which he's just winning.
So I assume that's where this comment comes from.
Which is one of the yeah, that's exactly where that comment comes from.
So
which is one of the more embarrassing moments of my chess life. But these things happen, I suppose. But I did not feel good about myself after that.
So I guess that's a bit of an in-joke with people that are watching. Fair enough. I mean, it looks like you've had some good wins here, actually, Joe. This is quite interesting, actually.
I think Mr. Duke's a bit of a beating. I haven't taken on Bullen yet, but that's going to be a bit crunch match, I guess, isn't it? When it comes around.
Yeah, I mean, still, I mean, you shouldn't be too unhappy about this. Okay, one loss, but you've won the other 4 games. It should not be. It's what most chess players do. You focus on the negative compared to the rest, and pretty standard. But yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. So what is this just tell me, for people that are listening, for other people that run their clubs, I mean, not just in Wales, obviously around the world, but also, I mean, for example, my club doesn't have this. I've been trying to encourage them to do it, but what actually is it? How does it work?
So it's a big all play all. We have tried to run it with multiple divisions in the past, but it becomes too complicated and creates arguments of who goes to what division. So I decided just to squish it all together into one big tournament. Anyone can play anybody, obviously only once. Sort your own games out, toss the colours, send me the results, I stick them in, I send them off the rating. I did introduce, if you scroll down, I did introduce a system whereby basically to try and stop people winning by picking up all the lowest rated players, which otherwise that would be an issue, wouldn't it? So
yeah, I can see a few people doing that. Just play against the new players to the club and just win every game.
So I've introduced a system where you basically get more points for beating a player with a high rating. That was my way of getting around that.
Okay.
And it seems to be working pretty well. Although it does have a slight flaw in it. It obviously doesn't take into account rating changes over the season, but it's
okay.
It's not perfect.
You can't be perfect though, and you can't please everybody. So I'm not too bothered about that. So what is it then? Is it just the highest amount of points wins at the end?
So if you look at the second last column, that's the score taken into account.
I'm just going to zoom in for a second for people that are watching because just to make it easier as well, and hopefully it'll go well. I'm actually going to make us a bit smaller as well because this is quite a bit better. Okay, so I just scroll up here. So we can see that you're currently 4th.
Yeah. because I have 40 points. So my 4 wins, obviously I got 0 for the loss, but the 4 wins put together add up to 40 by the system below.
Okay, and then even though he's lost to you, Mr. Jukes is currently first with 46 points, but he looks like he's played more games than you, which is fair, right? That's a fair way to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think ultimately that is what it comes down to, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean that's a positive thing though in itself, though, that you're rewarding people for turning up and playing every week. The person that plays the most weeks has got, and wins. Obviously, if they win, of course, their games or wins enough games, they're rewarded for playing more, and that should be a positive thing. And you shouldn't be. For example, Alex up here has only played 3 games, and I can understand why he might not want to play against everybody else as well, but. It's if you do turn up and you win more points, then and you for competing and participating, you're encouraging participation within the club.
Of course, and also if Alex only wants to play high-rated players, that's fine. That's up to him. But I'll take anyone on. I don't mind. If one of the new players wants to play me, that's fine. Let them have a shot, isn't it? It's good experience, and you can't be complacent, can't you? You can never think that just because there's big rating gap, you can turn up and just win. That's how upsets happen, isn't it? You've got to respect your opponents and take them seriously. So
I really like that attitude, actually, Joe. That if one of the newer players or lower rated players wants to come and have a crack at me, then bring it on. I love that. So we've got 8 people currently watching. People hopefully watching this on record. There's your chance. Get that Cardiff Chess Club members. Joe Fathallah there putting his rating on the line, because these are rated games, aren't they, as well?
Well, nobody cares about WC ratings. But, I don't anyway.
Don't say that again. I mean, we do care actually about the rating.
Obviously, I like my feeder rating starting with the 2. I get annoyed if it drops under 2K. I get annoyed. But.
Yeah, I think for those watching, as you start to get higher up the rating ladder, your national rating kind of means a little bit less, and it's not a case that we dislike it. It's just that your worldwide rating of your FIDE rating becomes more important. Because that's the one that's used when you go and compete in the big tournaments, and the one that's used for you worldwide. So that's the one that kind of matters, because it kind of levels everybody out across the world, whereas your national rating is only allegedly. Yeah, I know. There's even some things differently in that. Although we do have a section on the show about Welsh chess ratings, so I enjoy going through that, to be honest, and having a look, because it does take into account everything. But
it's relevant for you at the very top level as well, isn't it? Because it affects Olympiad selection. So for the sort of perhaps 6 to 8 people who are going to be for whom the next Olympiad team is going to be picked from, your Welsh WC rating is relevant, isn't it? So
well, we don't know, to be honest. I mean, if you're going to pick, for example, for Olympiad selection, then I'm not quite sure that your Welsh Chess Union rating counts.
Well, it should do, because it's based on a lot of games, isn't it? I mean, I'm surprised if it didn't.
I mean, it's one of those things is, should you compare like a league match that's played in the evening, regardless of where you're traveling to, compared to a FIDE rated game where it should be in better, so to speak, conditions with a longer time control. And there's a debate about that to be had. I don't think we're going to answer it today, but I think it's difficult to say. Main factor should be number of games played, Sigma Duck is saying. I'm not quite sure.
that would be interesting. Just once, pick the Olympiad team on that basis and see what happens.
So board 1, Josh McKenna. They wouldn't be able to compete, would they? He'd be playing so many games. It'd be fantastic. That would be great to watch.
You've got to have Josh on this stream if you're going to interview people.
Yeah, well, at some point, we'll have to see how many games he gets to, maybe for the 6 months. But if he gets to a target, then we'll bring him on for sure. Okay, so Cardiff Chess Club, obviously yourself, Sam. You mentioned Bill as well, Bill Hunt. Who else is working behind the scenes?
Well, it's the team captains, isn't it? There's 10 or so team captains running their own teams and doing a good job on it. Plus, there's people who, just the sort of the stalwarts, the Matthew Davises and the Georgies and so on, who just turn up and set the pieces up every week, and that sort of stuff is important as well.
Little jobs like that are so worthwhile. Just getting the club set up at the start. And I am just interested, just to go back to a different point. It's just kind of cropped into my mind. We mentioned about the pandemic, the Queen's Gambit. new players coming in, some sticking and some not sticking and leaving. Was there a typical demographic that came to your club?
Well, that's a
at
really
all?
good question. That's a really good. I'll be honest, I haven't thought about it. I have not thought about that. To be honest, no. I think it's just people who got into chess over lockdown, isn't it? And it's quite a wide range. I mean, obviously, there's still a very large, gender gap. That's the reality of it, and it's something, we could do an entire different session on, how do you close the gender gap? It's totally different, But I wish I knew the answer. It's a bit, it's a bit of a vicious circle thing that women don't play chess because women don't play chess, isn't it? But
it is a difficult one. I'm finding it in my clubs here as well. I mean, I've got one junior club that I actually run where it's 50-50 girls to boys. I've got another junior club where it's just all boys, and I'm just like, what? What do I do? It's crazy. So
we do have female members of the club. I mean, obviously Emma Kong amongst the juniors, is a strong junior. Olivia, obviously, Aneshka, Kimberly Chong is inactive at the moment, but hopefully she will, come back. And we do have women members in the club, but it is like a very large, discrepancy in terms of numbers. And as much as I'd love to be able to do something about that,
it's a case of we don't know sometimes even what to do about it, do we? And what is the actual solution to this problem that we have? And it needs somebody to actually come in to actually know what to do. And I guess any people watching who know what to do, please get in touch and tell us, and we'll give it a go. But it's also, apart from just opening the club just to females.
Well, that would be its own objective, wouldn't it? You just have people sitting in the room on their own. So,
which just wouldn't be too good at the start. So I don't know. Well, maybe with the Welsh Chess Union, we'll come up with something to solve that problem too. But okay, I mean, so your demographic, that have joined since the pandemic and the Queen's Gambit, you haven't really thought about it, but you think it's quite a wide range of ages, which is quite cool because it just shows just how chess can attract so many people. But okay, enough about the Cardiff Chess Club, Joe. And obviously some great work there. And what nights do they meet again? Wednesdays?
Yeah, meet on Wednesday nights.
And what's the venue just before, just so we can be clear? Is it down here somewhere at home, I guess?
It's the YMCA Platts Community Centre. It's just off City Road in Road, if any Cardiff resident know where that is. Otherwise, just look for the Ernest Willows pub, which is at Wetherspoons on City Road. And it's basically around the corner. So
YMCA Platts Community Centre, Shakespeare Street in Cardiff on Wednesday evenings, 7:30?
So if there's league matches, they will start at 7:30. We'll be there setting up from like 6:45, something like that. So.
Okay. Okay, and obviously you've got some membership there, but prices. But to be fair, it's cheap compared to any other sport or game, I should imagine. And, that's one great thing about chess. We are quite cheap. But okay, Joe, what's moving on to a little bit more about yourself. Obviously, you started when you were 8 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, I think 8. I learned to move the pieces.
And you scored 5.5 out of 6 in the junior tournament when you were 9.
5 out of 6. My first.
5 out of 6. Yeah. When you were 8 or 9. So junior prodigy then?
I wouldn't go that far, but I was well chuffed, at doing that. And also the one guy who did beat me that tournament was never seen again. So.
Okay. So where did it go from there then for you? What kept you in chess? What kept you playing?
Just enjoyed it. You don't enjoy it. There's no point, is there, at the end of the day? I mean, I did have a couple of years break in high school when my father passed away, which is obviously totally understandable.
That's understandable.
But other than that, I always played chess, albeit, with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Maybe I've had some years when I've been, less enthusiastic and some where I've been more enthusiastic. So I think the thing is, I probably didn't actually have a rating for quite a few years, official rating, because we just played amongst ourselves, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I don't think I actually had an official rating until I was like 13 or something. And I'm trying to think what my first rating was, but I want to say something like 1300 would have been my first rating.
Well, let's have a quick look here. So you've got a progress chart.
This is FIDE, isn't it?
This is FIDE. So I'll just make us a little bit smaller, and we can have a big look at this. So there's
a big post-COVID dip by there, as you can see.
Oh yeah, so you're at
Yeah,
here. You're at rating was so it's the blue dots that we're focusing on for his
yeah,
classical
blue
rating.
standard play. But
Although,
then
hang
we've
on,
got,
this rapid rating is a bit higher.
yeah, but then it dropped again.
So you were 2005 in 2018,
Then
and
yeah,
then
but then what happened? COVID happened. We all stopped. So we all stopped playing. You know, I'd had a bit of a dip before that anyway. We all stopped
yeah,
playing. We came back, and there were kids with ratings of 1400 playing like 2400s because do you know what I mean? Because they've improved hugely during the lockdown. So then I dropped huge. Like I was, you know, I was getting really quite frustrated by my rating at that point. I felt it wasn't really justified. But I've managed to claw it back up to 2000 since then. So,
and actually you got your highest. So this is quite interesting. And so I mean, you came on in 2007 at around 1960.
I think that was probably also the year when I first hit 2000 WC rating, about the same time.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember somebody commenting, I'm not going to name the person, but I imagine they're probably watching this stream, that when I hit 2000, this person commented, I've always thought anyone could get 2000. You have now proved my point, which I did not take. I did not take that well, but you know.
Well, at least you proved them, I guess, in some way. Well, I don't know. I don't know what you proved there, but I think that's a bit of a nasty comment because, like I said before, 2000 is a high rating in feeding. It takes a lot of work, especially after you've gone from being 2005 there and then you've gone back down to 1860 and then back up to your record high of 2017. And okay, you've got a little bit of up and down here towards the end, but 2010 still your second highest rating you've ever had from only a few months ago, whatever it might be.
Let's target 2050. That's the next target, isn't
Yeah.
it? So just take steps at a time. Let's see if I can get to 2050. Then, you know, if I get that, aim for 2100. If I get that, then I'm probably knocking on the door of the Welsh team. So you just got to take it one step at a time, haven't you? And
yeah, you definitely have, and you never know though. That's the thing. I mean, you think about it. You've got a rating there of 2010. If you look back at some of the Welsh teams that we've sent to the Olympiad back in the day, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, I have my own theories about this, but as soon as we're in public, I probably should keep them to myself.
Okay, right. Okay, we won't go too much into that then, Joe. But I mean, I just want to say, massive well done for coming back because many people would see their rating down here, and we kind of know. When I saw your rating, I think I played you around this area, and when you were here, and I was just like, Joe's not that low. This feels like I'm on a hiding to nothing here. And then there's no surprise.
Against you that you probably should have been okay anyway.
Yeah, I think for some reason I don't know why I always seem to get the better of you, but I think you're a much better player than.
I have a good record against Bullen. I think I've scored at least 40%, maybe 50% against him. But,
oh really?
Yeah, maybe. I think if you count the games that we played when Alex was a junior,
yeah,
then I think I have a plus record against him.
Really?
If you don't count those games, I think it's a slight minus record. But it's still higher than it should be if you take into account the rating gap. So I've got to be.
So I'm interested to know when you sit down for a game, obviously against Alex, and you sit down for a game, let's say against me. Do you treat the game any differently?
There's going to be you try not to, but if you somebody you do well against versus somebody you do badly against, it's quite hard to get that out of your head, isn't it? But I know you should treat all opponents the same, but in practice, we tend not to, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We're human. We can't not, can we? We all suffer from.
And actually, even when I played Jose, which is a game where on paper I'm on a hiding to nothing, because I've never actually. Maybe I played him once. You know what I mean? I didn't really have a history against him. And although he's like a 2400 IM, I'm not necessarily. And it turns out I played really well in that game and held him to draw.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It's always the history is going to make some difference, I think.
Well, that's actually really important to bring up. Actually, I completely forgot about that, Joe. Actually, when you came on here, let me just load that up. What was it called? It was the South Wales Autumn Open, was it?
South Wales Autumn Congress, I think, something like that. Sticking
yes.
with the test results, I'll find it.
Yeah. I'm just pulling it up here. So obviously, you've had some recent success then, really, and basically this is what you're talking about because I know you played against Jose in the last round of the Welsh Championships.
That was it this? I played him. Yeah, and I did lose that one. But
you lost that one, yeah, because it was one D4, B6, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, and I got caught by tricking the open, basically. But he's a quality player at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, he's just been in the UK Blitz, and him and Dan did really well actually on Saturday.
Dan did really well, didn't he? I saw that. But Dan did
I think they both finished roughly around the same area. They were maybe half or 1 point difference, but I think Jose beat Dan in their individual matchup. But I mean, here you are, basically champion for the South. Can you turn this video? This advert. We're giving free advertisement here to something. I don't like it. So this is the South Wales Autumn Open. And that took place in October. And you were the joint winner with 4.5 out of 5 with the drawing with Jose in the last round. And
I did manage to avoid Tim, who's another person I have a terrible record against. So that's,
oh, really?
Yeah. So that's probably a good thing. But yeah, I mean, actually, the game against Jose was not the best game. My favorite game there was a game against Duncan in round 4. That was a game where the computer gives it as basically like this, and you play like Super GM. You know, so when you get one of those, in a sense that actually makes you feel better than a result against a strong player, or at least it does for me anyway.
Yeah.
But against round 2, I was very lucky. Round 2, I was basically just dead busted against a guy rated 1600, and I managed to swindle him, which I suppose is a skill in its own right. You wouldn't say that much, I suppose, can't you? But
is there any games you want me to search for, Joe, that you wanted to?
I can show you one. But it's going to be 3 databases. I did actually prepare one game to show.
Yeah.
But I've got it on my screen, and it goes back. It's back. I think it's like 2004 or something.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. We'll share your screen, but I'm not going to talk. Okay. And then you can talk us through it. All right.
So the reason I picked this. Okay. The reason. Oh, hang on. Are we looking at my screen now? Are we looking at my screen now, John?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason I picked this is basically just for the comedy value. This is a game. I think this is from the 2004 or 2005, maybe Welsh major. I'm black in this position. I'm probably about 1800 at the time. My opponent is about 1500, and my opponent is a kid. He's rated like 10 or 11 years old, and he turned up really confident start of the game. I'm feeling quite groggy. I turn up. I'm finding this late. There's 1e4 already on the board. I've got this really sort of confident, intimidating-looking youngster staring at me. So, we get to this position. Okay. So White plays knight e5 here, which isn't a great move. And the reason it's not a great move is that basically it gives me this exchange sacrifice with a very, very strong kingside attack. So at one point, I think you are going to have to talk here because I'm going to set it as a puzzle, but we haven't got to that point yet. Because actually, after g3, Black misses a very, very easy win here, don't they? Which is just simply knight takes g3 and queen takes. And of course, if the rook blocks, you take the other rook. But if the king goes in the corner, then knight check is just winning loads of material. So in fact, it's mating because king in the corner, knight check, and it's just mate by here. So there's that was actually quite a simple win that I overlooked when I played queen h6. But I'm glad I overlooked it because it allowed this to happen. So bishop takes, pawn takes, rook here, queen check, king here, pawn up. And now at this point, I just kind of relaxed that I think I've done enough because I didn't see how he was going to defend it, and I'm sort of feeling quite pleased with myself. And to my absolute horror, he comes up with this move, which, like, I'm just thinking, a 11-year-old kid should not be playing this move. And I'm just sort of staring at the ceiling. Oh my God, what have I done? It didn't actually dawn on me that I could actually draw by perpetual check by just playing king g8. Of course, can't I? And he can't take the knight because the knight rook takes pawn. And this is actually repetition, although that didn't actually occur to me at the time. But I did find something, and I did actually win the game from this seemingly he's got off the rails after he found the amazing looking queen f5. So I am going to set this as a puzzle, black to play and win, and see if either you, John, or any of the listeners can find the solution. Sam has probably seen it before, so Sam, don't say anything. But anybody else, go for it.
Okay.
think out loud, because I want to see how close your thought process was to mine.
Well, you look at all the checks first.
Yeah, okay. So what checks are there?
Capture checks first. So queen takes f2. Then queen h1, queen h3.
Okay.
e2 check as well.
Okay.
e2 check just king takes is the problem.
Yeah.
Because queen takes f2, queen takes queen, rook takes queen. The king just moves.
Yeah.
Queen h1. King e2. Queen takes rook e1 check.
Oh, he's got it. Oh, he's got it.
That was good.
Yeah, it is good, isn't it? So I was thinking that, like, if only I could take the rook, you know, and then I realised, oh wait, I can take the rook. Because what's happened at this stage is that my 11-year-old opponent, thinking he's beaten me and caused an upset, has gone and gathered all his mates to come and watch his victory. So I look up and I've basically got the kids sitting opposite me, and this basically auditorium of kids surrounding the board, baying for blood. But by this point, I spotted his tactic. So I play queen h1, and he just plays king e2, and now he looks at me, he's thinking, well, you know, now your queen's on top of everything else as well. Now you're even bigger mess than you were before. You know, I think was going through his head. And I just look at him, and very slow, I just pick up the queen and just slowly roll it across and play this. And he sits there, he doesn't react for a few seconds, and then he just slumps down in his chair. I'm like, yes, that was brilliant. That was like one of my favourite moments of my life playing chess. So, seeing as you wanted me to share a game, I just had to pick that one, even though it's an ancient one, and I'm sure you can see why.
To be honest, it just makes me laugh, Joe, how your favourite moment is destroying an 11-year-old's dream of beating you.
and my other favourite one was from the British 2014, which is the first time I ever qualified for the British proper in Aberystwyth, when I played a youngster and I made him cry.
There seems to be a pattern developing here, Joe.
It is, isn't it? I know. This is what you get when you run a junior club for 10 years.
Yeah, you can't have any sympathy for them, can you, when you're in a junior club? You've seen so many tears, it just kind of doesn't even work anymore.
It's because it was like king. I think it was queen and 6 against queen and 6, and like he was pushing, but I was okay, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He basically swapped the queens in a position where it was wrong to do so. I'm not going to show the game; it's too complicated. But he swapped the queens in a position where it was wrong to do so. And the reason he did it is because I think he thought he'd worked out the pawn end into a forced win by calculation. But I'd seen further than him. What he missed was in the position he thought was Zugzwang.
Yeah.
I could actually sack a pawn and go into a pawn ending, which was a pawn down but winning due to the configuration of how the pawns were split, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And he missed that. And he got the position which he thought was Zugzwang. And I just slowly sat this pawn, and this single tear rolls down his cheek.
This may be turning into a bit of a I don't know. We should probably move on. I've actually loaded up our last game, Joe, because there was some quite interesting moments.
This is not good, is it?
No, actually, it's a lot better than what I think you think. Obviously, there was a lot of poor play, but there's also a lot of good play as well. So I actually missed an easy tactic to actually win the game early on.
Yeah, I'm aware.
So obviously, I'm just going for blood here in the opening, which is why H4 is played. And this must have been quite scary for you to face, I should imagine, Joe.
Of course.
So I keep pushing the pawn, and well, why stop pushing the H pawn when you can keep pushing it?
That's very alpha zero, isn't it? That's very alpha zero.
Yeah, but here I actually miss a win. So this is for the chat and you, Joe, as well. I actually missed just a clear win here.
Oh, white to play and win here, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just actually so easy. When you think about it logically, it's white to play and win here.
Excuse me, sorry. Well, the obvious thing to investigate is bishop takes pawn takes queen h5 check, isn't it? Is the first thing to investigate.
Yeah, I looked at that line.
But doesn't seem to do anything. I mean, king f8 and then what, isn't it?
Yeah, it just looked good, didn't it? I know that I'm winning the pawn on f5 with that tactic, so just to show people watching. So obviously I can do this, and then we can give this check here. We stop him castling. You think that's brilliant, but actually he just goes king f8, and you can take this pawn, but the problem is then black takes this pawn, and while this king on f8 is obviously terribly placed, black's actually got 2 pieces developed. The rook can come to g8 and g6. The queen will get out somehow. Black's actually got quite a lot of activity. So it's not that one. Nice comment in the chat, Joe, that if it were showing wins against you, then somebody else would have wanted to be on the stream with us. But
I think there's a lot of people who want to be on the stream. But...
yeah, this is white to play and win, and it's actually just winning a piece, and it's just so clean. And so easy when you look at it.
Oh, I've got it. Have I?
I don't know.
No, I haven't.
So come on, chat people. You should get it before Joe. White to play and win here. You just win a piece. I completely missed it. South Wales International 2 years ago was this, I think? Or was it this year?
It wasn't this year. It can't have been this year.
Lose track of years. Oh, yeah, this year was not as good. Yeah, 2 years ago. Give you till 53. Come on, chat. You should be getting this. And don't go put it into a computer online and then analysing it.
I've got an advantage here because in the dim and distant past, I would have analysed this, so I would have seen it, but I can't extract it from my memory. I feel it's something to do with a knight c6 and the queen, but I can't make any of those tactics work.
Yeah, it is. So we've got a kind of suggestion in the chat as well, which is kind of see bishop takes knight c6 first, pawn takes, and then g5.
Oh, yeah, but...
And actually, this bishop is trapped in.
Nice.
The bishop's trapped in, so you can throw in bishop e4 as an intermezzo, but I just play f3, bishop moves back, and then g5, and your bishop is trapped on f6.
That's unfortunate, isn't it?
Which is just amusing. Of course, I've got no development, but I think the extra piece is just relatively or easy enough to play with, so there's not much compensation. The bishop's trapped on f6, which is just highly amusing to me. Isn't it? You don't often see a bishop trapped on f6 there. But no, I didn't even, I think I stopped here to actually think and completely missed it. In the end, I did take, or did I? Yeah, and then I played bishop e3 at this point. And I knew around here that this was very good for me. And I could have played some different things. Was it this point that I chose to do a different move? Yeah, this point here, I think, or no, sorry, I took the pawn. So here so here I should have played queen f3 to keep the pin on the bishop.
What, rook f4?
Yeah, rook f4 coming, or just get this knight out and then just play a game from here. And the problem is your king is just too weak, and it's just easily winning for me. But the thing is, during the game, I knew that queen f3 was the right move to play, but I went for this, didn't I?
Which is why I wanted to play. Of course it was.
But it's not actually any good. You've actually got a way of extending the game. So you take the rook, and then I go rook h4. And this just looks so deadly, doesn't it? Rook f4 is coming. Check. And I think you played queen takes rook.
Yeah, but that fails to queen takes rook, surely, doesn't it? So...
Yeah, I just take here and then give this check, and then you resigns. At this point, you had a way of, saving the game. I don't want to say saving the game.
I remember finding it. Now I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
C2, is it?
Well, you've got 2 sack checks, haven't you? Rook c2 check and bishop takes b2 check.
Oh yeah.
As well. I'm trying to remember it myself because I only remember loading up the game thinking, how did I allow this to happen?
Okay, so bishop b2, king b2.
Okay, I think I remember why now. It's something to do with, like, for example, another candidate move for you is bishop e5.
Yeah.
Because then my rook can't get to f4.
Yeah.
So it's something to do with that.
Well, bishop e5 is playing knight f3, don't it?
Knight f3 doesn't win, though. The game continues, and I'm a rook down.
Yeah, but what's black's next move after bishop e5, knight f3? Because...
Well, I was going to play rook h5 instead, actually.
Rook h. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's probably good as well, actually. That's probably good as well.
You're actually, I think black's actually fine here. I'll flip the board around. We'll give it a minute. I can't even remember it too well myself, so I'm calculating as well.
Let's have a look at rook takes, king takes, queen check. We run out of checks after that, so it's not going to be that. Unless there's any other check. There's also queen check, does that change? Change it to queen check. Pawn check. Checks again.
Yeah, I thought you were going to sack. I really did.
Yeah, obviously I should have. Well, I did sack with the wrong one.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at interposing queen g4 check before the sack, just to mobilise my queen. I don't know.
Then rook f4 check blocks it.
Oh yeah, of course it does. Ignore me. Okay.
So I think it is. I think it's this. If I, do you mean queen g5 check? Queen takes rook c6, perhaps.
Yeah, but king takes bishop is not forced. You could just play king b1 instead of bishop.
Oh, you mean bishop takes b2? I can just play king b1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think somebody suggested in chat queen g5 check, but I don't quite believe this here. Rook c6 is an idea.
My king is too weak here, surely.
Maybe just knight f3.
Yeah,
knight g5.
Black has no threats here. The king's just going to get mated, surely. I can't believe
Knight g5 comes next.
Yeah, king's just going to get mated.
Looking a bit ugly. I think the solution is bishop e5.
Yeah.
Controlling f4. Rook h5. Then sacking.
Okay.
Let's just pretend I take for now. And then I think it's because you get rook c5 in. I think. This is my memory, though. So I'm going to put the computer on here and see what it says, because...
Okay. Excuse me. 0.00.
Bishop e5. Rook h5. Bishop b2. King b2, rook c5.
We do have
apparently drawing.
King b2, though, don't we?
Well, if I don't take it, I'm losing. Because apparently you come back to here now. And queen b6 check is going to make me.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Nope. So I have to take. And then this rook c5 move is just... And I basically have to take again, and I think, stuff happens here. I give a check maybe, and then...
It's going to be a perpetual check, isn't it?
Well, I've got a perpetual check. I've got a draw at least, but obviously I want to play for a win, so I'd have to bring my knight out somehow.
Well, you know queen takes pawn check.
Yeah, I'll do that check first and then try and get my knight out, but it's going to be another long game where you've got a chance to get a result. But I think it was just quite nice. And the reason why I wanted to show it was because in this position, you probably considered... I
definitely considered bishop takes, but I don't think I considered bishop e5 and then bishop takes. It's just counterintuitive, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you would have considered bishop e5. You would have considered bishop takes here. Consider rook takes c2.
Not in conjunction with each other.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? Bishop back to force rook h5 and then to sack the bishop. I just thought it was really quite nice in the way that worked.
It is really nice, and I definitely considered both moves, but of course your brain filters out moving the bishop one direction and then back.
Yeah,
doesn't it? So
and that just really, if I flip the board back around again, when I make this decision back here after e6, I kind of knew that queen f3 was the safe move.
Well, I knew this is intentionally provocative. I'm trying to get you to take it, aren't I? So.
Yeah, and then go into this kind of tactics, and because I obviously calculated all of this before, and I just thought that this was winning. I thought this was winning, but of course it isn't because you've got bishop e5 and then take on b2, which is really annoying. Okay, well, I won't show any more games against you, Joe. I haven't got them loaded up and I wasn't planning to. Don't worry. Good. Before we go, though, it's how do I pronounce Castel?
So it's Castech.
Castech.
Well, Castech.
Castech?
Yeah, Nev.
Nev.
Nev, yeah. There's basically three sounds in Welsh that don't really exist in English, which is double L, yeah, which is DD, double D, and the other one is which is CH.
Okay.
So that's cool. Well, okay, that's probably an exaggeration. Okay, so like is in Castell Coch, which do you know where Castell Coch is? It's like a sort of fake imitation castle on the edge of Cardiff. Just means red castle, but the Coch, that's the other sound which doesn't really exist in English.
Okay.
All these sounds exist in Arabic, actually, but not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is Welsh actually linked to Arabic in some way?
Probably if we go back like 2,000, 3,000 years, maybe, I don't know, but not because the Celts originally came from Europe, didn't they? But via,
did they?
Via parts of southern Europe having been conquered by Middle Eastern empires. So probably if you go back long enough.
I don't know what that says, Joe. I've put something rude on.
Let's go see the heen. On dwi dim yn siarad yn rhugl eto. Mae Iowan yn siarad mwy o Gymraeg a fi. I was just answering that person's question.
That's perfectly fine, Joe. We don't mind having Welsh being spoken on here, as long as it's not rude or anything. Whatever you were saying, but I mean,
nothing rude.
Can't be any worse about making young children cry playing chess, can it?
I was about to say, I think I've crossed that bridge already, haven't I?
No, but I mean, it is a competitive game, and that they have to learn how to deal with loss quite early on. And when you're, like you said, you've been a junior chess coach at Cardiff Chess Club for over 10 years. And obviously, that really wears you down, and you see tears every single week, pretty much. You go to competitions, you got kids quitting on you, and then you'll have new kids join, and it's just a complete cycle that goes around. And those that show the resilience will stay, and the will to learn and get better, also will improve the most as well.
That's true. That's true of everyone. That's not unique to
isn't it? Do you have any advice then before we say goodbye, Joe, to people watching? How to get better at chess or your own journey? Anything that you'd like to add?
Well, the first thing to get better is to play, isn't it? Ultimately, if you don't play chess, you're not going to improve. And one thing that quite annoys me, to be honest, is that if people are playing badly or they're going losing games, going through a bad spell, they pack it in, or they. For me, it has the opposite effect. It makes me angry and want to correct it. So it makes me want to play more. And put the wrongs right. So I think that's the first thing, isn't it? Is to actually play chess and to then analyze and learn from your own games with a strong human, with a computer, just on your own. Like, you can learn a lot from other people's games, essentially, especially strong players. But I honestly believe there's nothing better than your own games for understanding, trying to improve your chess, and also like maybe this is not, and also like broaden your experience, play different people. Like I made a list of countries I've been to.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Playing chess. Okay, and I may even miss some here. This may not be exhaustive. Okay, but places I've been to playing chess: Ireland 3 times, including this year. Guernsey, played the Guernsey Open. Portugal, played the Lisbon Open. Gibraltar, of course, Gibraltar trade-wise is brilliant. Sardinia. That was my first overseas tournament. Myself and Tom Brown went to Sardinia like a long time ago. I want to say like 15 years ago or something.
Wow.
Overseas tournament. Where else? Malta. Me and Sam went to Malta a few years back. Mallorca and Menorca. Both of which are good. Personally, I prefer the smaller, quieter one. I'm a bit old for Mallorca, to be honest. But I know Johan was talking about that earlier in one of the other streams. Latvia, been to Latvia, that was brilliant. Got to see them memorial to Mikhail Tal as well. Although not actually his grave, because apparently like it's an hour's bus journey outside the town, and there's not much to see. But I did get to see the statue. And the Isle of Man, of course, I've been to the Isle of Man, and that's off the top of my head. I might well have missed some there. So to be able to like combine traveling and seeing more of the world with playing chess, I think is a great thing. So I mean, and this year, like, I've been talking to some of my friends about potential tournaments, and then of course, as soon as we start talking about what tournaments you go for, I have to shell out for a new boiler, and I'm worried about what I can afford, put it or not, which is really annoying. But I'm with boilers cost these days. But it does. What I do really want to do is, of course, is the European Club Cup, which is in in Serbia in October. Now, I thought that we had to win the WCPR in order to qualify, but actually Alex assures me that's not the case, and the top 3 finish is probably sufficient.
Oh, okay.
So basically, as long as we don't completely ruin the rest of the WCPR season, we should have at least the opportunity to go. We would have to get, I mean, it's 6 boards, so for me, we'd have to get a squad of 7. I wouldn't want to go with 6 just in case someone gets ill or something. So
Yeah.
So realistically, it's a squad of 7. So whether I could actually persuade 6 other people to go is another matter. But
yeah,
if I could, then
cost it up and see if you can maybe get some sponsorship. Though, you know, you think about what you're doing with Cardiff Chess Club in that area, and it's been going for so long, an asset to the community. You know, get in touch with the council, get in touch with some of the local businesses. You know, see if they want to sponsor you going over there. I mean, you know, this is something that I think that Welsh Chess overall needs to do a lot more towards, or at least get somebody who's an expert, you know, who's got expertise in this area to try and get some sponsorship in, because I think that we do have something massive to offer, not just from a community level, but also from a branding point of view as well.
Of course, if we were England and we'd had actually the federation had been given money, it would be an entirely different question, wouldn't it? But seeing as we're Wales and that doesn't happen, then that's not.
Well, I mean, I think they're still debating it, so the jury's out. But the problem is the jury can't keep being out. We need action and result, don't we? Rather than nothing. But Joe, thank you very much. Obviously, you're well-travelled playing chess, very experienced in the Cardiff Chess Club and the chess scene down in South Wales. So thank you very much for joining me. And glad to hear you're still enjoying playing chess. And let's well, the next time you play a junior, I'm going to have to watch. You know, it's going to be fantastic. But it's always good to speak to you, and just how passionate you are about chess as well. So thank you very much for joining me, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing more of these interviews, because there's, you know, some great people around Welsh chess, isn't there? And I'm sure
there are, definitely, and I think
well up for coming on here.
Yeah, more than happy to advertise other people's clubs and other people's tournaments, and also speak to some of the other Welsh chess players, regardless of rating as well. So get in touch, and we'll see what we can do. I can't do next Monday. I'm playing the league game myself. Okay, thanks very much for watching, everybody. Obviously, that's Joe Fathallah. Obviously, you'll see him around. Try and if you're a part of Cardiff Chess Club, he's open for challenges. He's happy to take on all comers. So good luck against him. But thanks very much for everybody watching. Thanks to Joe. And yeah, see you on Thursday for the Welsh Chess Chat with Alex and Johan. Bye-bye, everybody.